Most welcome to continuation of this little series I have started about playing the open Sicilian with opposite castled kings. And you might wonder why I have dealt with this right now. I get some questions sometimes in the comments or people who are writing to me of how to put up an opening repertoire. And often people are very impatient. They have a tendency to maximize, this is your playing style and you should stick to this and that. That pays off reasonably well at the beginning. Maybe you define yourself as an attacking player, so you play the King's Gambit and other things. Nothing bad with that. Or you're a positional player, should only go for the quiet lines in the Reti, the English opening or something. All nice to learn. But if you would be building yourself, educating yourself as a chess player, I think you should have a basic education in different kinds of positions. Otherwise, you will be too vulnerable for preparation. And you have seen also that in my games, I play pretty different openings, different styles, depending on opponent, very much. And that is because I have been drilled in that old-fashioned school that you learn about many things. Of course, after some years, maybe you think that, but these are the openings. I like those things more. But then you have a basic education. You are not completely lost because the opponent now gets into positional games instead of the bang, bang, crash, the lines that you used to play. So I think it's better to be a complete player. Complete is a stupid word, but I think you know what I mean. A more all-round player is better. That might take a little bit more time. It doesn't sell that well if you give courses, but I have seen examples, too many examples, of when players have started to play one way and they think that chess is about that. I must have that and that position. And then they are desperately trying to get this and that kind of position all the time. And chess isn't like that. It will sometimes get messy, sometimes get very sharp, sometimes very slow, positional, long-term strategic. It is a rich game. So and then I thought the second line of thinking here is that when you go e4, you maybe want to learn to play a little bit more active, a little bit more aggressive maybe. But then you have the problem with huge amounts of theory. So then people anyway start to play, let's say, against the Sicilian. They play the two knight c3 lines, either close Sicilian following up with g3, knight Charlie 3 and then golf 3 after echo 4 Charlie 5. Or they go for the Grand Prix attack, a little bit more aggressive, knight Charlie 3, Foxtrot 4 and so on. And I've done all that as well. But playing the open Sicilian, knight Foxtrot 3, followed up by Delta 4, it gives you understanding of other types of position. Not only one type, of course, it's still a chess university to play both with and against the Sicilian. It's such a rich opening, lot of different structures. That is another thing that I want to emphasize. If you have a coach telling that you will always try to get that structure, run the other way. Run the other way. Learn that structure, but don't believe that you will always get it. And of course, you can continue with analyzing the structure, really mastering it. That is very good for your chess education. But chess will entail a lot of different structures and fascinating positions. That makes it more interesting to play, otherwise it would be horribly boring, I would say. So, therefore I tried to make a kind of compromise. I show you lines in the open Sicilian that they will require some study, for sure. Absolutely. Otherwise you get nothing. You don't get an advantage against the Sicilian anyway, but you will at least get interesting positions, and I now try to show you some with attacking prospects. So my aim is to give you a start into the chess university of the open Sicilian with opposite castles, kings, a bit more aggressive stuff, but not the lines that are most fashionable, but still they might pay off equally good as the fashionable lines that has a very quickly growing theory. Another maybe advantage of having me as coach, if I may call myself like that on this channel, anyway, I've worked as coach for horribly many years now. I am not a super grandmaster or something, but when I take games on my own experience, I can note that these lines that I employ are not maybe the best, but it has really put strong players, like the last examples were players on 22-13 in Lange's case. I think Palacios was 22-48. Very decent players, I would say. They have had problems with these lines. Most of you don't have 2200, 2300 in ELO rating, so I think that you easily can use these lines as a club player or beginner, or what you would call yourself, but even on FIDE master level, like my own, it has actually worked. So that is a little bit about the ideology of this little series. I should maybe have told it from the beginning, but I started more like I wanted to show some interesting games, and then I thought maybe expanding it to something more, and then I do a series about it. That is why I didn't have this long introduction before the first video. All right, now we are really getting into players like my own strength. Not even as Magnus Carlsen or Hikaru Nakamura or the best human players. Now we are getting a game played in my own computer. I have a very fast one, so the games will be of very high quality. It is stockfish-17 playing against the last version of LelaZero. I think it is 31.1 or something the version is. And they played with decent thinking time. I think it was something like 60 minutes with 5 seconds increment. Pretty much time for these engines to think. And we will see how a line that I forced them to play actually can teach us human beings a lot about strategy and position of chess. So let's kick off. White, that is stockfish-17, opens with Echo4. Echo4. Leland played Charlie 5. This is what I forced them to play, of course. Charlie 5, the Sicilian. Followed up with Knight Foxtrot 3. Knight to Foxtrot 3, that was stockfish. And Delta 6. 2 Delta 6, as we are still working on the Najdorf. White played Pawn to Delta 4. Pawn to Delta 4. We are now safely, or very unsafely maybe, in the open Sicilian. Charlie takes Delta 4. Charlie takes Delta 4. And White plays Knight takes Delta 4. Knight takes Delta 4. Black goes Knight Foxtrot 6. Knight to Foxtrot 6. And White goes Knight Charlie 3. knight to Charlie 3. And as you expect, black plays pawn to alpha 6. Pawn to alpha 6. And here we got the Najdorf. We continue with the topic that I've started with bishop to echo 2. Bishop to echo 2. And this is not the most fashionable line, but it has been employed on the highest level for many decades, and is still a perfectly valid move, I would say. I'm not so sure that the other fashionable lines give better prospects than this one if you aim at an advantage. But yeah, advantage you don't get. But if you aim at asking black difficult questions, let's put it like this. Now, we have in this position already analyzed or have examples and some discussions of mine about when black plays pawn to echo 6 here. That was Magnusson Landgren, 2 videos earlier in this series. Of course, I could expand a lot on that one, but this will not be a complete course. That would take 30-40 hours recording at least. But I give you ideas and you can work on them yourselves. Maybe I will return to the topic and add more later. We also had what I think is the best move for black, pawn to echo 5. That was Magnusson Palacios, the video previous to this one. But black, as some experienced grandmasters have shown, can also try to trick white. Now you have put the bishop on echo 2. And that is maybe not the best line against, for example, the dragon variation. So, in this game, I forced the engines to play pawn to golf 6. Pawn to golf 6. The idea here is that alpha 6 might be a useful move for black in the dragon. Now, the dragon is that you developed your bishop to golf 7, you normally castle kingside, you play knight Charlie 6. And white normally, if you really would test black, doesn't play bishop echo 2. Instead you put the bishop on echo 3, you play foxtrot 3, queen delta 2, and often early castles queenside. I will of course come back to the dragon also, maybe in the next video. And there I might come up with something related with bishop echo 2, but maybe not. But black has now wasted a tempo. White claims that the tempo is alpha 6 is maybe not so useful. If white had continued with castles kingside, bishop echo 3, something like this, it's possible maybe to eke out some positional grip on the position, but it's not much. It's possible. I had worked with it a bit before I changed my mind and went for another line that at least is in the spirit of this course. And now we go pawn to golf 4. Pawn to golf 4. I would say it is a logical follow-up. Black has given white a pretty free hand in the center. Having the knight on delta 4, white has a bit of a space advantage with the pawn on echo 4 compared with the pawn on delta 6. More space, that means that I have more control over black's half part of the board, from rank 5, for example. And black is also lagging a bit in development. Maybe not so easy not a thought that comes to mind that easily. But white has developed 3 minor pieces, 2 knights and a bishop. Black is on move, of course, but has developed only a knight on foxtrot 6. So, and yeah, many pawn moves have been played by black. So if you give white time here, why not use the fact that we put our bishop on echo 2 that protects G4, so then we push the pawn there. It is logical because we want to play actively on the king side and normally castle queen side. We will see that it doesn't always happen. Maybe white, like in this game, continues to have the king in the center. But yeah, it is in the spirit of the kingside attack. Here, after G4, black generally has two moves that are considered the two best. You can play Hotel 6 as black. And then, yeah, that is maybe something I will come back to. You can analyze yourself. White can then continue with taking more space, grabbing more space on the king side with Hotel 4 and then rook G1 maybe and push G5. That is the idea. White has to take more space and thereby also make it easier later on to open files against the black castled king, if that would be on G8. Hotel 6 wasn't played in the game. From here the engines were free to play themselves, but LelaZero chose another very interesting move, and that is pawn to Bravo 5. Pawn to Bravo 5. So, black also follows the logic of the preceding moves. Alpha 6, okay, it might be seen as a waste of time. It doesn't develop a piece. But at least it protects Bravo 5 and telling white that if you expand on the king side, I can expand on the queen side. So it makes a lot of sense. Now we have a little rally. White plays pawn to G5, pawn to G5. And black plays pawn to Bravo 4, pawn to Bravo 4. Yeah, and this is, one could of course discuss a lot of other options, but if black just backs down with Knight Foxtrot Delta 7, white can continue with kingside expansion. Maybe both with Foxtrot 4 and Hotel 4. Maybe starting with Hotel 4, and we have Hotel 5 soon to come. White has now the grip on Delta 5 because the knight has gone Foxtrot to Delta 7. Yeah, so it's better for black to expand with Bravo 4 instead, and that was what was played. Black played Bravo 4 in response to G5. Now we have some captures. Golf takes Foxtrot 6. Golf takes Foxtrot 6. And black recaptures, of course, on the other flank. Bravo takes Charlie 3. Bravo takes Charlie 3. And white recaptures. Bravo takes Charlie 3. Bravo takes Charlie 3. And here we reach another very interesting position. There are different options here, of course, for black. I wouldn't recommend, for example, Echo takes Foxtrot 6. Black is left with a lot of weaknesses on Delta 6, for example. But yeah, I can't cover everything in detail here, but yeah, for sure, white has doubled isolated Charlie pawn, Charlie 2 and Charlie 3, looks awful to me, but also space and development. So moves like, I can hint on that, moves like bishop to Charlie 4 is likely to come up, and then maybe white can then both combine with pressure on the queen side, like rook Bravo 1, bishop Alpha 3 are possible moves, pressuring pressurizing delta 6. But it is also very often combined with Foxtrot 4, even castles kingside, and then break through in the center with Echo 5 at the right point. It's a very, very sharp, but also very, very educative position. If you work with this, you learn a lot about chess in general. I could have spent 10 hours analyzing this game, but, well, you are already maybe thinking that I'm talking too much. So, even Echo 6 is instead of, in the position we have after Bravo takes Charlie 3. It looks like a perfectly natural move, but I can tell you that White can actually just push Echo 5, open files, and use the advantage in development in a very mean way to Black. But Black went for what is considered among the engines the best move, pawn to Echo 5. Pawn to Echo 5. And yeah, this is a perfectly Najdorf Gresk move in the spirit of the Najdorf. Now, if White starts to play passive moves, then actually Black can equalize. And we can see that the pawn on Foxtrot 6 can easily get captured. So, White has played very ambitiously and has to continue doing that, but comes up with a move that very, very few human beings will find. But when you have seen this idea, you can employ it in your own games in similar positions. I would say, yeah, some humans would come up with it because they have studied such thematic positions when you have lead in development. Black's king is stuck in the center. You can see that all Black's pieces right now are on the first rank, the 8th rank from Black's side. Whereas White has a shattered pawn structure on the queen side, a pawn on Foxtrot 6 that is very good taking space, but it is also vulnerable for being up to grabbing. But what we can see here, first of all, is that Black has weakened the light squares. Pawn to Echo 5 weakens the delta 5. And this is something that White now exploits and plays the remarkable Bishop to Charlie 4. Bishop to Charlie 4. And here we come to, maybe I overuse the word fascinating, but this is not a game that you see every day. Absolutely not. This is a very special game. I have learned a lot, but it is still only, I have just started to scratch a little bit on the top of the iceberg or something, what I would say about this game. There is so much in this game that we can learn from. Bishop to Charlie 4 is a sharp move indeed. It sacrifices the knight on delta 4. But the idea is long-term positional compensation. And this is demonstrated by Stockfish in such a beautiful manner. This is something that would have, for example, made Tigran Petrosyan crying with happiness of, other players, the positional long-term players. But here it is played by an engine, a chess engine, who shows positional understanding. And this is interesting. Can we call it understanding? At least creativity. Then is the question, when does it really show intelligence and so on? But this is something that you can learn even if you if you will not play the open Sicilian yourself. Take this part as your education, as I referred referring back to my introduction, you learn a lot, and this can come up even if you play the English, the Reti, you played Delta 4, you played, whatever. Bishop Charlie 4. Black captures on Delta 4. Echo takes Delta 4. Of course, not the only move, but it started to be a bit problematic if white could have continued with, for example, Bishop Delta 5 soon. The rook on Alpha 8 is a bit in trouble, and the white rook can come to Bravo 1. We see he moved the second time this king's bishop was moved, but black has done a lot of poor moves. Echo takes Delta 4 is, of course, the principal response played by Leela. And white continued Bishop Delta 5. Bishop to Delta 5. And now you see, it's not so important to grab a pawn on Delta 4. It is not about material in the first case here. It is to maximize the position of your pieces. Bishop to Delta 5. Black played rook to Alpha 7. Rook to Alpha 7. And white continued developing. Rook Bravo 1. Rook to Bravo 1. So, gaining tempo on the knight that is now threatened, the knight on Bravo 8. So, black has developed one piece, the rook on Alpha 7. White has only two pieces developed, the rook on Bravo 1, the bishop on Delta 5. The third piece that was developed already was the knight on Delta 4 that now has been taken. But white continues to optimize the positions. Compare the placement of the rook on Alpha 7 compared to the rook on Bravo 1. Okay, black has nominally developed the rook, but it will still take time to get it into place, to play in a meaningful way. Whereas the rook on Bravo 1 is already carrying out a meaningful role. Black played knight to Delta 7. Knight to Delta 7. Of course, moves like Queen to Charlie 7 comes into mind. It is not as strong as Knight to Delta 7, I would say, but not a bad move either. Probably white would have continued with Queen takes Delta 4 then. And it is free for you, of course, to deepen the understanding by your own analysis. You must always analyze the games many times and add on what I have told. Knight to Delta 7. Anyway, the knight threatens on Foxtrot 6, from where it would get some counter control on Delta 5, for example, challenging white's wide square domination. And another square is Charlie 5, where the knight can stand there. So, very decent move. What else would you expect from the super chess engine? Now, Queen takes Delta 4 comes. Queen takes Delta 4. Developing with Tempi again and recapturing a pawn. The Queen now threatens the rook on Alpha 7. Let's see, how is the pawn count? White has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I don't remember. Remember that I am a blind chess player. I do this without having a board in front of me. But it seems like we have now 2 pawns for a piece. That is not really what matters here, but the good thing is that we have development and space. And it is very difficult for black to develop the king side. That is actually a big problem that maybe not dawn upon you that quickly. At least it didn't do to me. If white would could keep the pawn on Foxtrot 6, then the bishop on foxtrot 8 would have problems finding a meaningful life, and that we will see in the game. So queen takes delta 4, it gives at least a little bit of support to the pawn on foxtrot 6, and gains time because it attacks the rook on alpha 7. Black played knight to Charlie 5. Knight to Charlie 5. Yeah, rook to Charlie 7 was an option. Yeah, there is an option to everything here, I would say. But have a look. Just give me, let me give, imagine that we played rook to Charlie 7 instead of knight to Charlie 5. What would you have played? I think I didn't turn on the engine here. I do some own analysis. But bishop to takes foxtrot 7, check. Would be very tempted, wouldn't it? Bishop takes foxtrot 7. And as our pawn on foxtrot 6 controls echo 7, black has to capture. King takes foxtrot 7. And then queen delta 5 check comes. Queen delta 5 check. Black has two options. If you play king takes foxtrot 6, then you lose the queen. Bishop to gold 5 check. The bishop is defended by the queen on delta 5. The king moves, and then bishop takes delta 8 will follow. And white, of course, is winning. If we again, let's imagine that we instead of knight Charlie 5 played rook to Charlie 7. We follow up with bishop takes foxtrot 7 check. King takes. Queen delta 5 check. King down to echo 8 this time. Then we see how useful this pawn on foxtrot 6 is even now. We play queen to echo 6 check. Queen to echo 6 check. And black doesn't want to put the queen on echo 7. Then we just grab the queen. Maybe there is something strong, but no, I think we just play foxtrot takes echo 7 and call it, more or less call it a day. We have won a queen for our sacrificed bishop on foxtrot 7. So bishop echo 7 is the move to go after queen echo 6. Fine, we can take a piece, but we can be more mean to black, I think. We push foxtrot 6 to foxtrot 7 check. Foxtrot 7 check. Black only has king foxtrot 8, king to foxtrot 8, and we develop with tempi again. Bishop from Charlie 1 to hotel 6. Not just a tempo, it is checkmate. Checkmate. So, you see how interesting this position is. Suddenly, after such a natural move, rook to Charlie 7, black will get mated or lose the queen in just a few moves. But you have to train your tactical vision, your imagination. But that part of the training of that is to see many examples and then try to calculate, solve puzzles, play games and analyze. And yeah, there is a lot of things you have to do to be a good chess player, but it's all fun, at least for me. All right, knight to Charlie 5 was played in move 14. This will be a horribly long video, but I have enjoyed this game so much, and I think you will too. So, white continued with Charlie 4, pawn to Charlie 4. So, we have shifted from very, should we say tactical things in our analysis of rook to Charlie 7. Now we see that chess is not so that you choose between tactical or positional. Chess contains both things in the same game. So now white just strengthens the pawn structure a bit. The pawn on Charlie 4 is guarded by the bishop on delta 5. It gives support to the bishop as well, of course. But you can also see that the bishop now from Charlie 1 can maybe be developed to delta 2. It's not so likely right now, but it is improving the position a bit. Just in the spirit of old masters like Petrosjan, let's say Ulf Andersson, the famous Swedish former super grandmaster. Putting questions to black, because black, normally when you sacrifice a piece, you might get very stressed. You have to find something concrete, and you have to do it now. But what the real strong human players, and in this case, the real strong chess engines also show that you have to be on the watch for the concrete onslaughts, like bishop takes foxtrot 7 in the analysis previously gone through. But you can also see that if you just restrict your opponent, then you get time and you can improve the position bit by bit. Here, it is very difficult to find meaningful developing moves for black. So, therefore we have a bit of time. Black played pawn to hotel 5, pawn to hotel 5, and I would say that if you ask me, Mr. FIDE Master Magnusson, the talking a lot guy, I had a very good developing move here, bishop to a6, and you didn't see it, you blind chess coach, or wishful thinking. No, you don't have bishop a6. Okay, not if you want to survive, at least. Imagine if you have played bishop to a6, I take this without the engine analysis, just out of my mind. I take bishop takes bishop. If you can't take with a knight from Charlie 5 to a6, because then you will lose the rook on alpha 7. If you take with a pawn, foxtrot takes a6, you have foxtrot 7 check. And after that, you will play queen takes hotel 8. Then that rook will fall instead. So that is explaining why I come with this statement that it is difficult for black to develop the pieces, at least in a meaningful matter. Hotel 5 is a way to try to develop, I would guess, the rook. Would you be able to push the pawn to hotel 4? You might later on play rook to hotel 5. Maybe then transfer it to the center rook, e5. And you also have the possibility to play your bishop to hotel 6. So it's preparing to develop, I would say. White pushes pawn to hotel 4. Pawn to hotel 4. And as I would say, I don't claim that I understand all aspects of this game. Not even close. But pawn to hotel 4 stops the idea to push hotel 4 for black and follow up with rook to hotel 5. But you also get the opportunity to, in response to bishop hotel 6, maybe play bishop to golf 5. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad. Or even play foxtrot 4. And it is good that black can't break out with golf 5. So both these ideas come to mind. Generally speaking, I wouldn't favor bishop to golf 5. It could be exceptions if you can follow up. After bishop takes bishop, hotel takes bishop, then foxtrot 4, foxtrot 5, echo 5. That might work, but in general, I would favor not to exchange pieces. But in this case, I think it is good to play bishop to golf 5, actually. Because after the exchange, the pawn on foxtrot 6 would be defended by the pawn on golf 5, and white can follow up with foxtrot 4 and later on Echo 5 or Foxtrot 5. Black can't do so much in that position. So Black played Queen to Charlie 7. Queen to Charlie 7. Okay, getting some control of Bravo 8. You could see that the Rook starts to annoy Black a bit. Rook to Bravo 8 is always something that Black has to take into account. Imagine if you play this position as Black. Or think it in a nicer way. Your opponent plays against you. You have the white pieces. It is so difficult in a practical game to play these positions. We even see how the strong chess engine Leela gets into trouble here. White is down a piece, but is objectively having an advantage. So we will see how it continues. White castles kingside. White castles kingside and completely ruins my idea to only show positions with opposite castle kings. I apologize, but at least Black has not castled yet. So at least developing, getting the king into more safety, also developing the rook. And now we see more that pawn to Foxtrot 4, opening the center, gets even more interesting for White. Black plays Bishop to Hotel 6. Bishop to Hotel 6. Yeah, this is a move that we kind of understand a little bit now after the discussion before. At least it develops a piece. But White simply captures, actually. Bishop takes Bishop on Hotel 6, and Rook takes Hotel 6. Then White continues with Rook Foxtrot to Echo 1. Rook Foxtrot to Echo 1. Very instructive move again. Black has managed to, so to say, get rid of one undeveloped piece, but swapping it for White's only undeveloped piece, the Bishop on Charlie 1. And one can discuss whether or not the Rook on Hotel 6 is misplaced or developed or undeveloped, so to say. But now, with Rook Foxtrot Echo 1, White opens the real threats here. Opening the center with Echo 5 is something that Black acutely needs to think about. So, Black played Knight to Delta 7. Knight to Delta 7. Of course, castles kingside was something worth considering, I think. Castles kingside, what should have happened then? I am not completely sure what I would have played, but no, sorry, castles kingside is impossible. The rook is on Hotel 6. Sorry for that. It seems very difficult to get the king out of the center quickly. Letting White push Echo 5 with the king on Echo 8, even if it goes to Foxtrot 8, is still in danger. So Knight Delta 7 then seems like, maybe not the only, but very reasonable move. It at least stops Echo 5 for the time being. White pushes Foxtrot 4, pawn to Foxtrot 4. And let me emphasize again this. With the exchange on Hotel 6, Black loses the right to castle. And that means that White gains a lot of time. This was something I didn't think of when preparing this game. But it dawns upon me by my own mistake of thinking about castling for Black, which is now impossible. So then you gain time because Black has to walk the king to the king's side, which will take more time than just castling. So the swap of bishops helped black a bit, getting rid of a piece that didn't do anything on foxtrot 8, but misplacing the rook, I would say now, on to hotel 6, and also making it difficult for black to get the king in safety. Foxtrot 4 was played, and black played king to foxtrot 8. King to foxtrot 8. Here you might ask, why didn't black just play queen to Charlie 7, queen to Charlie 5? Yeah, I think that would be a perfectly reasonable move, but in this kind of position, it is not at all so clear that white can't even prosper from exchanging queens. Of course, you want to preserve the queen when you are attacking. You are a piece down for, was it 2 pawns, I think? But at the same time, when you have lack of development, exchanging some of the few developed pieces you have actually can be very risky. Then there are fewer guys who are actually involved in the fight. So let me, for example, think of that we exchange queens on Charlie 5. Then black has the king on Echo 8 still. If the pawn takes, delta takes Charlie 5. Then I think it's very tempting to play pawn to Echo 5. And white's pawn center really tells. White can then continue preparing, things like Echo 6. And it is still very difficult. Black has just 2 minor pieces, the knight on delta 7 and the bishop on Charlie 8, both with very passive positions, and the bishop on Charlie 8 is very difficult to develop still. Let's imagine that black instead, after queen takes Charlie 5, black takes with the knight. That is the move for choice, at least to me. Then let's think, what could white actually do? I think rook to Bravo 6 would be logical. Why do I come up with such a move? Maybe it's not the best move, but I will try to explain how I think. The knight was on delta 7. It took on Charlie 5, and a good rule of thumb is when your opponent has made a move, think of how the position has changed. The knight no longer protects Bravo 6 or Bravo 8. So the first things I start to think of is rook Bravo 8, can that work? Or if not, maybe rook Bravo 6, attacking the pawn on delta 6. And it's not easy for black to defend that pawn. Let's say rook delta 7, then white can actually just play bishop Charlie 6, at least winning the exchange, and then continuing the attack, because black's, the exchange is not the most important thing here, but after grabbing exchange on delta 7, white continues the attack. The center can be opened with delta 5, the rooks are very active in an open position, and black's rook is completely out of play on hotel 6. So rook delta 7 doesn't work. Okay, why not use the king? King to delta 7, alright. White can grab the pawn on foxtrot 7. Bishop takes foxtrot 7. And again, it is not material in itself that is the most important, but what happens is that you now have not only a pawn on foxtrot 6 that takes space, it is also free. Now it is a pass pawn on the 6th rank. That is something of power, I would say. Of course, you have to watch out so that black can't trick you with moving the king from the 7th rank and then threatening the bishop on foxtrot 7. But yeah, we are not so stupid. The king is on delta 7. If it moves to delta 8, okay, we can move the bishop and then push foxtrot 7. Or do other mean things. So, this is just a demonstration of what problems black faces every move. It's so easy to think, I can swap queens. And then I have my knight on Charlie 5. That's a good square, isn't it? But then you start to think a bit more and you see, my rook on alpha 7, alpha 7 is misplaced, my rook on hotel 6. I have an undeveloped bishop on Charlie 8. Weak pawn, delta 6. Weak pawn, foxtrot 7, actually. So, yeah, you then see, it didn't help me much to exchange queens. I'm completely lost, anyway. So, king to foxtrot 8 was played in move 20. King to foxtrot 8. The queens are still on the board. So, white then played king to foxtrot 2. King to foxtrot. And this is brilliant, if you ask me. Completely fantastic. White simply continues to improve the position of the pieces. Maybe the idea is here, I cannot just knock on Stockfish and ask, what did you think, actually? If thinking is the right word. But it seems like white is even preparing for the end games by wanting to, if the exchange would be exchanged on Charlie 5 and the knight would capture, white is soon ready to maybe play king echo 3, king to delta 4, and then maximizing the potentials of the monarch that now is active. We will see also that it will maneuver quite a bit, this king, but you show again, like we had when white pushed Charlie 4, you don't need to be in such a rush. As long as you make sure that black your opponent can't improve the position. Then you can improve yours peacefully. Black played rook to hotel 8. Rook to hotel 8. And this is actually improving the position of the rook. It did nothing on hotel 6. Now, black might have something in mind like king golf 8, king hotel 7, and then finally something like castles kings that has been carried through, although it took a lot of time. White plays pawn to alpha 4. Pawn to alpha 4. Again, a quiet move. Very quiet. Maybe the idea is to push alpha 5. That can't be grabbed, because then the rook would be taken on alpha 7. The queen needs to protect the rook still. And if you have the pawn on alpha 5, then ideas like even sacrificing the exchange with rook to bravo 6 comes into mind. Because if it would be grabbed, yeah, we have a dangerous pass pawn on bravo 6. And yeah, in this case, it would be a fork, maybe a queen to Charlie 7, queen on Charlie 7, rook on alpha 7. But yeah, in general, alpha 4 comes with positional threats, like grabbing more space, taking control of even more squares in the black caps, in this case, bravo 6. So, black replied alpha 5. Alpha 5. And that is, of course, yeah, it stops white from pushing alpha 5. But again, ask yourself, what squares have been weakened? We see the change in the position was that yeah, let's put it like this. White advanced the pawn from alpha 2 to alpha 4. It weakened a little bit the control of bravo 3. It doesn't seem very relevant, but that was what changed in the position. Black pushed the pawn from alpha 6 to alpha 5, and bravo 5 is weakened, and that seems to be the square more interesting for the future of the game, I would say. Alright, White played rook to bravo 5. Rook to bravo 5. And now we also start to see ideas coming with doubling rooks on the bravo file. That is possible. We can think of pushing pawn to Charlie 5. That is still a tricky and risky thing to do, maybe. But such ideas come with placing the rook on bravo 5. Black challenged by bishop to alpha 6. Bishop to alpha 6. And Black developed a piece. Sad for it, I would say. It is a chess engine that it has undeveloped, or what is called the rook to L8. So Black still is not fully developed. We are on move 23. But bishop to alpha 6 makes perfect sense, of course, attacking the rook on bravo 5. White plays rook to bravo 3. Rook to bravo 3. And you might ask, wasn't this a gain for Black? Yeah, maybe. I'm not so sure, but could be. But at least the bishop on alpha 6 doesn't do a whole lot. It attacks Charlie 4, but that is very well protected. And White, meanwhile, has improved the position of the rook slightly, putting it on bravo 3, where it can both be used on the king side and also opens the possibility for doubling on the bravo file. So I don't think it was a loss, maybe not such a big gain, but yeah, decent for White. Black retreated bishop to Charlie 8. Bishop to Charlie 8. And you see that Leela was running out of ideas here. Yeah, a little joke, of course. It shows that how difficult it is for Black to use the pieces. And okay, White is one minor piece down for a couple of pawns, but in real, you have to focus on what can the pieces actually do, and they can do almost nothing. Even if you are strong chess engines on 3600 in rating. White played rook echo to bravo 1. Rook echo to bravo 1, doubling. Black played king to golf 8. King to golf 8. Yeah, soon may be castled, but we have to get the rook into play also. White played rook to golf 3. Rook to golf 3. Little annoying threat. As the king is on golf 8, the pawn on foxtrot 7 is pinned, so White threatens to grab on golf 6, rook takes golf 6 check, winning a pawn. But, of course, Black doesn't fall for that, plays king to foxtrot 8. King to foxtrot 8. So, by this little thing, little maneuver, yeah, you couldn't play king to hotel 7 because of bishop takes foxtrot 7. You see, the knight on delta 7, it is developed, but it's also standing on the way on the 7th rank sometimes. We have seen this weakness on foxtrot 7 recurring. So king to foxtrot 8. White made it difficult for Black to come to safety with the king. And White played king to echo 1. King to echo 1. I wouldn't say I understand this move, but okay. The interesting thing is still to say that white has time to improve the position on the pieces. Maybe the king would be better on the queen side. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I understand all this. Absolutely not. I'm 100% sure I don't understand everything. But at least enough for me to improve as chess player. So, black now played queen to Charlie 5, queen to Charlie 5, but this no longer, thanks to king to echo 1, maybe that was the full point of it. White doesn't have to exchange queens. Now the queen is not pinned on delta 4. And white kept the queens on the board, queen to Charlie 3. Queen to Charlie 3. And yeah, here you have to be careful, but you see that the rook on Golf 3 plays an important role, protecting Golf 1, so that, and also Echo 3. So making it difficult for black's queen to penetrate the white position. But yeah, black has one attacking piece against a camp of white forces, so it's pretty lonely, that queen. Black retreated queen to Charlie 7, queen to Charlie 7, and white played king delta 2, king to delta 2. And black played bishop to alpha 6, bishop to alpha 6. Yeah, it's difficult to find moves for black. Going back and forth, trying not to lose, is what black does here, I would say. White played queen to delta 4, queen to delta 4. Yeah, improving the position of the queen. Let's see what happens. Bishop to Charlie 8, bishop to Charlie 8. Yeah, you might ask yourself then, what had happened now if the queen went to Charlie 5, if black had played queen Charlie 5 instead? Then here, you can see the weaknesses on the back rank, I would say. Maybe white could simply take queen takes queen. If delta takes, then we have echo 5 coming, and the pawns are very dangerous. If you take with the knight, knight takes Charlie 5, white can play rook to Bravo 8. Yeah, and after this rook Bravo 8, check, black can't actually move the king. The king is on Foxtrot 8, if I recall correctly. So you just, you can prolong it by playing bishop Charlie 8, but then it comes rook takes Charlie 8, checkmate. So we see how to explain it. When you have a better position, simply, your pieces are standing better, you have strategical advantages. There will come tactical solutions. They will pop up because that is the logic of the position, if I may call it like this. So black didn't go for queen Charlie 5, of course not. Instead, bishop to Charlie 8. And white played rook to Bravo 5. Rook to Bravo 5. Here we go again. Let's see if the rook can maintain its position this time. We will see. Rook to Alpha 6. Rook to Alpha 6. And here you can see the difference in the position compared to previously. Let's see. Bishop to Alpha 6 was played earlier. Let's see. What is the difference had black played bishop to Alpha 6 here? Rook to Alpha 6. I can't really come up with a direct response to bishop to Alpha 6, but yeah. Don't worry about that. There is a lot of things that I have to go through in the game for my own sake also. But yeah, we go on. Rook to alpha 6. White pushed moved rook golf to bravo 3. Rook golf to bravo 3. And yeah, making sure that black can't jump with a piece to bravo 6 or something like that. Maybe that was the point of it. But white improves the position a bit. Black again played king golf 8, king to golf 8. And you remember last time when that was played, white played rook to golf 3, threatening rook takes golf 6 check, which made the black king go back to foxtrot 8. We see what white comes up with now instead. Rook to bravo 7. Rook to bravo 7. That is something to come up with, isn't this? And now we see that white is willing to sacrifice the exchange, which would mean that it would be rook down for 2 pawns. But if white can eliminate the few defenders in black's position, yeah, then a rook more or less is not the most important thing. Black played queen delta 8. Queen to delta 8. Yeah, and of course we should ask ourselves what happens if the bishop would have captured on bravo 7. Bishop takes rook. Yeah, rook takes bishop is the self-evident move. Rook takes bravo 7, threatening the queen on Charlie 7, and also the knight of deltas on delta 7 shouldn't be forgotten. Which means that, let's see, black can maybe play queen to Charlie 5. Let's toy with that idea. But it looms up different problems. Maybe we anyway can play bishop takes foxtrot 7 check there. Bishop takes foxtrot 7. The queen is on delta 4 and the black queen has now gone to Charlie 5. If black takes king takes foxtrot 7, then white can play rook takes delta 7 check. Let's see what black can do. You see the queen on delta 4 is protecting foxtrot 6, so black has 3 moves. Think now, train your imagination. The king is on foxtrot 7, the rook on delta 7. The king can choose from king echo 6, echo 8, foxtrot 8 also, and golf 8. But take one at a time. Let's start with king echo 6. That is refuted by rook to echo 7 checkmate. Let's look at king to golf 8 check. Golf 8, sorry, not check. White then replies foxtrot 7 check. Foxtrot 7 check. With disaster, of course, if king to hotel 7, foxtrot 8 queens with a discover check from the rook on delta 7, for example. King golf 8 is not very tempting. We also have to look at king foxtrot 8, king to foxtrot 8, but white can then regain the rook, at least, with swapping queens on Charlie 5 and playing rook to delta 8 check, grabbing the rook on hotel 8. So that will result in a rook at pawn ending where white is up material and position, I would say. So let's say we continue our training in calculation a little bit. Rook king to echoes 8 would be a possibility. King to echo 8 after rook takes delta 7 check. Maybe that is the way to go. Let's see. what on earth can white do then? The rook is threatened. That is for sure. It might be possible for white to play foxtrot 7 check, foxtrot 7 check, king takes delta 7, and queen takes hotel 8. Yeah, this is a lot to calculate. You have to think of then what would happen after queen takes hotel 8. White is threatening a lot of things, but foxtrot 8 queens is interesting, of course. But we shouldn't overlook that white also has a king. So queen to foxtrot 2 is a check, is an interesting move, of course. But it seems like white can escape with the king. Maybe going to Charlie 3. And then if, yeah, I think black will not be really on time to put up perpetual or involving the rook in the attack. You can look at it yourselves. Or maybe I made a complete miscalculation here. But for sure, rook to Bravo 7 must have been calculated through by Stockfish in a blink, and so also by Leela. But I don't check everything with the engine. It comes with a purpose. I'm not really a lazy person. I've spent a lot of time preparing the games, and so I do in all fields of life when I was working as a university professor, for example, writing research things. But there is a point of trying to get you follow my line of thought so that you can maybe learn something if you are a player who is slightly weaker than me. You can start to understand how to think. Maybe it resulted in something that was wrong, but the idea is the important thing. Let me return to the position rook Bravo 7, where black played queen delta 8. It comes to mind even that bishop takes foxtrot 7 check is not at all the only move that white can play. You might even be you might even consider playing a move like queen takes queen. Queen takes on Charlie 5, because then the bishop remains on delta 5, the rook is on Bravo 7. The knight has to take, because if delta takes, then rook takes delta 7 will follow. And if white, if the knight takes, then we have rook takes foxtrot 7 check. No, not check. King is on golf 8, I think, here. But rook takes foxtrot 7, and then we have this passed pawn on foxtrot 6 again. And we have discovered checks, because the bishop is still there on delta 5. That must be a far easier solution than the crap I just came up with. But yeah, I think it was crap that resembled the thought process during a game, nevertheless. So, but here we saw, let's use Occam's razor. Why go for something complicated when we actually had a clear-cut solution to the thing? All right. Queen to delta 8 was played. And white finally pushed pawn to echo 5. Pawn to echo 5. And yeah, the timing is very interesting. White has maximized the position of the pieces. The rooks are doubled on the Bravo 5. One rook is actually on the 7th rank. The queen is centralized on delta 4. The bishop on delta 5. Yeah, and now the center gets opened. Echo 5. Now black captured. Bishop takes Bravo 7. Bishop takes Bravo 7. And rook took Bravo 7. Rook captured on Bravo 7. So now white is a full rook down against 2 pawns still, I think, but with a tremendous domination. Black plays rook to hotel 7, rook hotel 7, which makes perfect sense, of course, because you have seen many examples already of how vulnerable this foxtrot 7 pawn actually is. White played queen to Bravo 2, queen to Bravo 2. That is a move to brag about in the bar on Saturday evenings, isn't it? Playing so cool, just improving the position again. You have a full rook down, rook against rook, but you got 2 pawns, all right? But you improve the position, not in a rush. Black played rook to alpha 8, rook to alpha 8. And yeah, if you ask me what would have happened if black had played rook to Bravo 6, for example, instead, challenging on the Bravo file, saying, now I can use my extra rook here. But then you had rook takes delta 7. Rook takes delta 7. And if black captures queen takes delta 7, then it comes queen takes Bravo 6, so white has won a piece. If black had played rook takes Bravo 2, then it's rook takes delta 8. It is checkmate, I think. So, you see, all the time those tactical solutions come up because we have a sounder and better position. It came anyway, rook takes delta 7, with or without the rook. Yeah, but now with the rook on alpha 8, but yeah, this is now a simple thing actually, because after queen takes delta 7, it followed bishop takes alpha 8. Bishop takes alpha 8. And of course, you can ask yourself, did Leela actually get tired here or something, wasting a piece? The fact that Leela actually played rook alpha 8 showed that there were no other better moves. That is what I would say. I gave the example of rook Bravo 6. Look for alternatives. I mean, white was threatening, for example, queen Bravo 5, threatening the knight on delta 7 and the rook on alpha 6 at that moment. So, yeah, it was not easy to find something. Now, black is up the exchange, but white already has 2 pawns and still the dominant position. So, black played rook to hotel 8, and white bishop delta 5, bishop to delta 5. Yeah, simply improving the position again of the bishop. And now we see the pressure on foxtrot 7 is still there. We have threats like queen Bravo 5 coming up and queen Bravo 7. I mean, the endings with this dominant bishop and extra pawns and this space advantage with the pawns in the center is devastating for black, of course. Black played queen to Golf 4, and white played queen to delta 4. Queen to delta 4, improving the position, protecting the pawn on foxtrot 4, of course, and also taking away different squares from the black queen if it wanted to infiltrate and try to get perpetual check or something. Delta takes echo 5, delta takes echo 5. And white plays queen takes echo 5. Queen takes echo 5. There was a pin on the 4th rank, you see, so foxtrot takes extra. Echo 5 would have lost to queen takes delta 4. So, but queen takes echo 5 is not at all a regrettable move. The queen has a fantastic position here, and yeah, foxtrot 7 is very weak still. And black played king to hotel 7, king to hotel 7, and white bishop to takes foxtrot 7. Bishop takes foxtrot 7. And yeah, I don't know how long I should follow this game. I will, of course, provide it in PGM in the description, but it has been a long video already. Now, yeah, we can take some more moves. Queen to golf 2 check. Queen to golf 2 check. Queen to echo 2. Queen to echo 2. Queen to golf 3. Queen to golf 3. Queen to echo 7. Queen to echo 7. Now we have discovered checks along the 7th rank to think of. And also, yeah, white has this threat of queen getting into golf 7 checkmate, and so it's very difficult for black now. King went to hotel 6. King hotel 6. Bishop to delta 5. Bishop to delta 5 with all sorts of threats. Queen takes foxtrot 4 check. Queen takes foxtrot 4 check. Queen to echo 3. Queen to echo 3. And you see this comes up now with the exchange of queens to follow. Because the king is on echo, hotel 6. Yeah, I just go through some more moves. Queen takes queen, check. Queen takes queen on echo 3. King takes echo 3. And black plays pawn to golf 5. Pawn to golf 5. And here we see that black can actually get a passed pawn on the king side. But white will have both passed Charlie pawns and the foxtrot pawn. White simply pushed Charlie 5, golf takes hotel 4, golf takes hotel 4. It makes sense just to push the pawns because the bishop from delta 5 also controls hotel 1. So it's not difficult for white to stop black's pawns. White played pawn to Charlie 6, pawn to Charlie 6. Now you see that maybe the bishop can come to echo 6 also, and white king is well in reach of taking care of the past h pawns that black now has. Black played pawn to hotel 3, pawn hotel 3. White king to foxtrot 2, king to foxtrot 2. Pawn to hotel 2, pawn hotel 2. King to golf 2, king to golf 2. Hotel 1 queens, check. And king takes hotel 1. You see, the engines often play long games. They continue till it's over. And yeah. Rook to Charlie 8, rook to Charlie 8. And now we see how to finish this off. It can be, yeah, not difficult. White played pawn to foxtrot 7. Pawn to foxtrot 7. Now we have the two passed pawns. And black has to take care of both of them. The rook can't really leave the Charlie 5 going to foxtrot 8, for example, because then white can probably place the bishop on echo 6 and then push the Charlie pawn. So the king has to take care of the foxtrot pawn and the rook of the Charlie pawn, which leaves the field open for white to do whatever he wants with the king. King to golf 7 was played. King to golf 7. King to hotel 2. King hotel 2. King foxtrot 8. King foxtrot 8. King hotel 3. King hotel 3. King echo 7. King to echo 7. King to hotel 4. King to hotel 4. Rook delta 8. Rook delta 8. Pawn to Charlie 4. Pawn to Charlie 4. The second time in the game. First it was the... White has had a lot of use for these terrible isolated Charlie pawns, actually. Pawn to Charlie 4. Rook hotel 8. Rook hotel 8. And king to golf 5. King to golf 5. And we see that the bishop still covers hotel 1. So you get, you can be pretty free on then maneuvering your king in helping your foxtrot pawn to promote. And you can even blockade with the bishop on hotel 1 if the pawn reaches hotel 2. Black cannot be in time for everything here. Hotel 4 was played by black. Hotel 4. King to golf 6. King to golf 6. Hotel 3. Hotel 3. Pawn to Charlie 7. Pawn to Charlie 7. And you see that now it is not just for black to come up with the hotel 2, hotel 1, and after capturing on hotel 1. Yeah, because then it is Charlie 8 queen. So, hotel 2, pawn to hotel 2. Bishop Bravo 7. Bishop to Bravo 7. Black can do very little. Okay, king to Delta 7 attacks, at least attacking the Charlie pawn. But, see, pawn to Charlie 8 queens. We check. Charlie 8 queens. Rook takes Charlie 8. Rook takes Charlie 8. Bishop takes Charlie 8, check. Bishop takes Charlie 8, check. And yeah, here I think we stop it. Black played King Charlie 7, but yeah, I can give some. Yeah, might simply play Foxtrot 8 after King Charlie 7. Foxtrot 8 queens. Hotel 1 queens. Actually, as a human being, maybe I should just have maybe just avoided this. But yeah, white has a piece up, king, queen, and the bishop and pawn also. So this will be no-brainer. White plays after black played hotel 1 queens. White continued Queen Charlie 5 check. King to Delta 8. King to Delta 8. Bishop Echo 6. Bishop Echo 6. Queen Echo 4 check. Queen Echo 4 check. Queen to Foxtrot 5. Queen to Foxtrot 5. This is to check, of course. And yeah, Queen to Golf 2 check. Queen to Golf 2. Queen to Golf 5 check. And that is with the exchange of queens. Queen takes queen check. And king recaptures on Golf 5. And the rest I don't bother to give you. This has been a very long video anyway. And you have the rest of the game in the PGM in the description. So this was a long video, but also I thought it made little sense just to skim through the moves, because there were so many things that I learned from studying this game, and I will learn even more if the more time I put into it. But to sum up, from the opening perspective, I chose this Golf 4 move. If black, so to say, first starts with the Najdorf playing Alpha 6 on our Bishop Echo 2 playing Golf 6. The Golf 4 move is very interesting, I must say. Black can also, instead of playing Bravo 5 as we had in the game, play Pawn to Hotel 6. I don't cover that right now. Both because you can study yourself and I have to limit. I cannot overload you and myself either. And also, you will see this combination of Alpha 6 plus Golf 6 pretty rarely. But it's good to have the ideas here. That is, the ideas with the Bishop to Charlie 4 sacrifice, long-term compensation, the fantastic powerhouse, or what I should call the Bishop on Delta 5, and then slowly improving the position of the pieces. And you remember this time when the Rook finally sacrificed itself on Bravo 7, then all White's pieces were perfectly placed, I would say. So there is a lot to learn from this game, from strategical, positional point of view, but also a lot of interesting tactical motifs. Often the Bishop takes Foxtrot 7 popped up in different themes. So I hope that you have enjoyed even this long video. Of course, you can always pause and continue later on. This is 1.5 hours. I probably maybe the only one who presents such long videos. Normally they are between, let's say, 45 minutes and 60 minutes. But this was a fantastic game for me to watch and then even more to analyze and understand at least small parts of the richness that this game contains. I will follow up with other variations of the Sicilian. Now we have done 3 videos on the Najdorf, which makes sense because it is maybe the best line for black in the Sicilian and also one of the most common lines. And I hope that you have grasped a little bit on my thinking related to this not so fashionable these days Bishop Echo 2 linked to very aggressive ideas pushing on the king's side. Thank you for now.